It was around 7:30 p.m. on Sunday, August 31st, 2025, when a frantic call came into 911 from a house on the 9600 block of White Lane in Lavaca, Arkansas. The woman on the phone was 33-year-old Dara Masterson, and the panic in her voice made it immediately clear something terrible had happened. Dara opened the call by telling the dispatcher,
"My husband was mad at me. He told me to leave and I backed up, and he was on the car, and he's hurt."
As the dispatcher tried to transfer her to EMS, Dara kept screaming her husband's, 34-year-old Clayton Masterson's, name in the background. She begged for help, yelling, "I don't know if he's alive," over and over again.
Welcome to Love and Murder. Heartbreak to homicide. It's us, Jessica, Jensen, and Jane, the AI hosts here with your midweek mini, keeping things moving while Kai is on vacation until January. We're here throughout December to bring you these cases exactly as Kai researched and wrote them, centered on the victims and the facts.
Before we get started, a quick note. The Patreon version of this episode has the full 7-minute 911 call connected to it. If you want to hear that audio and support a listener-funded podcast, you can join us at patreon.com/loveandmurder. Even the free tier gives you access to some extras, but the bonus tiers unlock full case add-ons like this one. Patreon.com/loveandmurder. All right, let's get back to today's case, and this case is very short as it's still ongoing.
Once the line switched to EMS, Dara finally got her full sentence out.
He told me to leave, and I backed up in the car and I hit him. I don't know how alive he is. I'm so scared.
She insisted she didn't mean to hit him, shouting several times,
I did not mean to run over him.
When the dispatcher asked directly whether she ran, quote, all the way over, Clayton, all she could say was, I don't know. During the call, Dara described Clayton as bleeding from his mouth and nose. He was still breathing, but she wasn't sure if he was breathing normally. She also told the dispatcher that Clayton's father was there during the incident, and despite Clayton telling her to leave, she admitted she didn't want to.
I didn't want to leave. He tried to tell me to leave, and I didn't want to leave.
By the time Sebastian County deputies and EMS arrived, Clayton was lying on the ground with severe injuries. Emergency crews knew right away this wasn't a minor accident. He was airlifted to a hospital in Little Rock and initially listed in critical condition. Dara was also still at the scene when deputies got there. She was identified as Clayton's wife, though they were separated at the time. Before today, there had been no prior domestic violence calls to that home and no history on record suggesting something like this was brewing. Dara told investigators what led up to the incident. She said that she had come over to pick up some of her belongings. At some point before 7:30 p.m., an argument started, and it escalated as she tried to leave. Dara told investigators that, as she was leaving, she felt threatened, backed up her vehicle, a van, and ran over her husband. Deputies seized the van as evidence. They later noted that the damage on the back of it came from running over Clayton and then hitting a tree right afterward. After Clayton was flown to Little Rock, the Sheriff's Office Criminal Investigation Division arrested Dara and charged her with 1 count of felony second-degree reckless battery, also referred to as felony second-degree domestic battery, and 1 count of driving while intoxicated. She was booked into the Sebastian County Adult Detention Center on a $10,000 bond. As of September 4th, she still hadn't posted bail. Meanwhile, Clayton's conditions slowly improved, and by Wednesday afternoon, September 3rd, the hospital upgraded him from critical to stable. As of this recording, there are no other updates to this case. What is clear is the path each side is preparing to take. Prosecutors charged Dara with serious offences, and they'll probably argue that she acted recklessly by backing up the van with enough force to run over Clayton, and that her alleged intoxication impaired her judgment. They'll have the van's damage, the 911 call, the medical reports, and the severity of Clayton's injuries. The defense is staring at a very different angle. Dara repeatedly told the dispatcher she did not mean to run over him. She described feeling threatened right before she backed up. She insisted she didn't want to leave, even though Clayton told her to. Those statements, especially the panic in her voice, will become central to any argument that she didn't act with reckless intent. They may argue she reacted in fear, that she was overwhelmed, or that she misjudged the situation in a moment she believed she was at risk. All of this will likely come down to one question. Was this a reckless, intoxicated act that nearly killed Clayton? Or was this a panicked, chaotic response to a moment where Dara believed she was in danger? Until the case moves forward in court, all we have are the 7 minutes of audio, the damage to the van, Clayton's injuries, and Dara's frantic voice shouting into the phone, "I don't know if he's alive."
What are your thoughts on this case? Leave them below in the comments or over on the Patreon. Patreon.com/loveandmurder.
Also, as this case is still ongoing, everything said here is alleged. If you want to support the show, get case extras to almost every case, like the 7-minute 911 call from this case, and bonus episodes, then you can join us on Patreon at patreon.com/loveandmurder. That support is what keeps this podcast going and allows these stories to be told with care and intention.
Speaking of bonuses, yesterday, Kai put out a Kai Rants episode about a case that made her sick. A 5th grade teacher who was very inappropriate with one of her 11-year-old students.
The mother of an 11-year-old boy overheard her son on the phone, but the call didn't sound right. When she checked his phone, she saw explicit, inappropriate text messages between her son and his 5th grade teacher. I want to say that this article includes explicit messages and was even hard for me to read and write, because look, listener discretion is heavily advised. The boy's father drove to Rivercrest Elementary School carrying printed copies of the messages, as you should, Dad, because I'd be like, look, either you take care of this or I'm going to take care of it, and you don't want me to take care of it. A forensic analysis of the students' and teachers' phones uncovered roughly 33,000 text messages. The messages showed a clear progression from inappropriate emotional attachment to sexual grooming and explicit sexual content. In those messages, Madison talked about, quote, making out with the boy, 11, during lunch or after school. There were references to physical contact inside the classroom, and she sent sexually explicit messages, including telling him she wanted to, quote.
To hear the rest of this rant and more rants like this, bonus episodes, and more, then join the Patreon. Patreon.com/loveandmurder. Bonus episodes start at the $5 tier and above. Patreon.com/loveandmurder. Thank you for listening all the way through, and thank you for supporting Love and Murder. We'll see you in the next episode.